Yes, this is us, trying our hardest to keep ourselves together. Just after finding out that the dream we have been working towards for the last 12 months has been destroyed, due to one of the most unfair reasons imaginable. But for all of this to make sense, I want to start the story from the very beginning. We are Joe and Liisu, two travelers from quite a little known European country called Estonia. And after spending the first 6 months of our newly formed relationship backpacking through South and Central America, we one day realized two things. Firstly, the fact that although we had spent 6 months together without an hour apart, we were not tired of each other. And secondly, although our journey in the Americas was coming to an end, then our souls were not yet satisfied and wanted to travel more. So right there, in the heart of South America, we started to form a seemingly impossible plan for the craziest adventure we could think of. After leaving Bolivia and returning back home, the work started. We spent days acquiring documents, weeks applying for visas, and many sleepless nights planning the route ahead. But finally, after about 6 weeks of hard labor, we were ready to tell our plans to the world. We will start driving from Europe to Japan! Yes! After that, it took another 2 weeks to convince our families that we are not clinically insane. But finally, in the August of 2022, we were ready to start the biggest adventure of our lives. Today, our journey from Europe to Japan with our car officially begins. The next 8 months that followed have been definitely the most memorable to both of us. We have seen some of the most incredible places our planet has to offer. Met people who are kinder than we ever thought was possible. And took part of events that look more like a dream than a reality. But of course, not everything on such an unpredictable journey went well. For example, the time when we accidentally drove into the worst ghetto in Europe and tens of Roma people tried to break into our home while it was moving. Holy crap! That might have not been the best idea. Or of course, the moment when our visas to Pakistan were denied. To sum it up, the situation is that our passports were taken away from us. And we got stuck in Iran, a country on a brink of civil war. Yet, through all of these good and bad times, we always managed to find a solution and kept moving forward. First win. It was our dream, after all, to do the impossible and drive from Europe to Japan. But still, ever since we started this journey, we knew that there was a thing we could not control. From the beginning of the pandemic, China's land borders have been closed to tourism. And for the last 6 months, we kept on reading rumors whether or not they will open. Thank you, brother. We are now in India. In April 2023, after around 8 months on the road, we finally heard the news we had been waiting for. After 3 years, China was once again opening its land borders.
This morning, for the first time since the start of the pandemic,
China has reopened its border.
China fully opened its borders.
Yeah, I know, we should have been extremely excited about this. But as we were waiting for this message to arrive, we spent nearly 2 months in India. And well, this country had taken its toll on us. We're just so extremely tired of India. This country is draining us day by day by day. If you haven't visited this place yourself, you should know that it's probably the most intense and invasive country and culture on our planet. constant harassment from the police.
May I finish my sentence? Crazy, we were just parking in a place where locals go as well, and suddenly all the doors are being pulled. Like, they literally come here like this on every door. It is not okay.
Stomach problems?
It's not even 12 o'clock and I've been to the toilet 5 times today.
And hundreds of locals constantly invading our personal space.
I can't say for sure, but I think this is the closest I've felt to what animals feel like in the zoo. Do you ever feel like you are being watched? Like somebody staring in front of your door, just watching inside? I do.
All of this became an everyday thing. And honestly, at one point we realized that we did not like the person we had become.
India has made me a much worse person than I was before. I'm starting to have anger issues.
Yeah, in our defense, this guy had just drove his bike into a van.
Do you understand that?
What's wrong with you guys?
But more than this, we could not find the love inside of us to share with the world.
Why did you ask me 100 rupees?
He don't know.
He don't know. He wanted to scam me.
So as the last thing in India, we took part of a 10-day silent meditation course to once again find love and strength inside of us to continue our mission.
Goodbye for 10 days.
Without the joke, we meditated 11 hours a day, 10 days in a row. And believe it or not, it worked! We felt like we were born again.
How to get subscribers? You just hand out business cards. Woo! 10 new subscribers!
Hello.
And 3 more!
Hi.
And of course, the first thing after getting out of the meditation, I stepped in cow poop. Welcome back to India.
And in early May, we entered Nepal, the 15th country on our journey.
We are in Nepal!
We are in Nepal!
After entering, Liisu even changed passports to make it easier to apply for China visa with a so-called clean passport.
And we managed the infamous passport change on a land border.
I had done the same thing few countries before, as we had heard that having stamps from Turkey might complicate the process of entering China. Straight after entering Nepal, we contacted our visa agent. But the news we got were quite hard to accept. The rules of entering China had changed.
We have made it to Nepal, Kathmandu, and by this moment we have been on the road for over 8 months.
And on this rainy morning, we haven't seen rain for months, we just found out that our dream of driving from Europe to Japan cannot be done. It's such a cliche, like the weather is grey and rainy and our dreams are down the drain.
And now, the only visa we could apply for was a group visa, meaning a group of 4 or more people who enter, exit, and stay together the whole duration of time in China. Finding people with just as crazy plans as us did not seem likely.
There's so much things that have gone wrong today, but I feel like an internal calm. It's so weird, sort of this relief of awaiting bad news or sort of, yes, I'm already a winner. Doesn't matter how far we get.
Yet still, we tried everything in our power and decided to post our plans on a few Facebook groups with the intention to find like-minded people. After doing this, our minds were at ease. We had done all we could. And the next 2 weeks, we spent discovering the beauty of this incredible country. And then, about 15 days later, just when we had given up on all hope and accepted our defeat, this happened.
You said you didn't want to fly
Two other travelers, Merle and Hannes from the Netherlands, contacted us, and well, they were just as crazy as us.
Let's keep our hopes up and we'll see what.
It's the most hope we've had of ever reaching our destination.
It felt weird having hope again, and suddenly two more, Mark and Gosia, joined our group. Like magic, we had a group of 6 to travel through Tibet and China, and then towards Japan. After a hell of a lot of compromising, the plan was set. It was an interesting dynamic, thinking of the needs of 3 couples. But in the end, the itinerary was amazing. The Great Wall, panda bears, and of course the Terracotta Army. I'm not gonna lie, our hopes were high, and so we went ahead and applied for the visa. It cost a fair bit of money. Took about a week, and from our fingerprints to all of our previous jobs, we had to tell it all to the embassy.
Phase 2 just completed. We went to the Chinese visa center and gave them all of our information.
Joe,
What's up?
Chinese embassy wants to see you in 57 minutes.
4 of us were even called to an interview at the embassy, where they pretty much asked me why did I stay 32 days in Pakistan, and if I had any contact with the terrorists. It felt a little weird answering such questions about terrorists. Yet about an hour after this,
Just got back from Chinese embassy. They want to take my passport for 2 months for observation. So there goes our dream.
Three out of our 6-member team got the same answer. A request to give away our passports for 2 months while in a foreign country. Sadly, it was simply not an option. We were not told the reason why our passports were chosen, but the only common thing we found was that we had spent more than 30 days in Turkey and Pakistan, which seemed unacceptable to China. It just felt unfair. 2 days more. And well, this is the story. How we drove from Europe to Nepal, only to have our dream crushed by one person's decision. Yeah, I know this would be a perfect moment to now tell you how much we learned during those 10 months on the road and then end this video. But sadly, while traveling, it's never that easy. And on the next morning, we found ourselves in even worse situation.
Once again, we're coming to you from a situation where we have 3 days left on our visa. We don't have the next visa. We're totally stuck in Nepal.
It felt strange, turning back. After 10 months of going forward, working towards our dream, and on the last stretch, just 1 month away from our goal, we had to give up. Yet what gave us peace of mind was the fact that we tried everything. We gave it our all, and although we didn't reach our end goal, it was still the journey of our life. We drove out of Nepal on the last day of our visa, but due to the politically uncensored videos we did in Iran, it was not safe to return the same way we had come here. So in just 4 days, we drove right across India, with only a little 2-hour stop in the middle, to see the most famous building of this country. Then, we found ourselves in Mumbai, the biggest city of India, and our purpose here was simple.
Today is a big morning. We've been packing, we've been stressing, we've been getting paperwork done for the last 3 days. And now we're gonna drive her to the port and try to fit her in a container.
You know what? While packing Freyja in a container with Blue Bear to ship them away from this continent, we could not help but feel the same way as we did a year ago in Bolivia. Our journey, driving from Europe to Japan, had ended. We had failed. Yet our craving to discover the far and unique corners of the earth was stronger than ever before. So I guess the only thing left to say is that every failure is an opportunity to start again. Where would you go next?